Hi, good evening to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Let me share my screen. All of you are able to see my screen.
Yes,
sir.
Yeah. Okay, guys. See, in the last session, we are discussing about so what topics we discussed. Yeah, these are the topics we started with. Software testing process. What is software testing process is? Okay, requirements analysis, planning. Okay, then designing test scenarios and cases. Then we have seen that how to write a sample test case, and then execution of test cases, and different types of environments that are available in any project. And then we are discussing testing types. So majorly these testings are categorized into two types. You can say white box testing and black box testing. Okay. White box testing will be performed by developers. So in the white box testing, they will test mainly coding. Developers testing. Developers will test the code mainly here. The code will be covered. Okay. That is the white box testing. And black box testing. Who will do this black box testing? White box testing will be performed by developers. Black box testing who will
Excuse
do?
me, sir.
Testing team, right? Testers.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Someone is waiting to join in meet, sir. Please approve.
Okay. Yes, done. Good. Okay, all are joined. Yes, okay. Yeah, guys, this black box testing will be performed by testers or business users also will be involving sometimes. And these are all different types of black box testings. Okay, guys, smoke testing. What is smoke testing? We discussed this one, right? What is smoke testing? In the last session, we discussed.
To verify the build.
Yeah, to verify that whether that application or build is ready or not for further testing. Okay, that is called smoke testing. So here we test only the basics of application like login and page navigations, those things. Okay, and functional testing. What is functional testing?
Testing the requirements
Yeah,
and the functionalities.
testing the requirements or functionality of the application. Okay, good. Regression testing.
Testing existing ones, sir.
Yeah, so that means whenever developers do some changes in the code by adding new requirements or by fixing the defects, they will be doing changes to the code, right? So whenever they do some changes to the code, so those changes should not affect already working functionalities. That we have to ensure. So that testing is called regression testing. So in the regression testing, we ensure that already working functionalities are test cases, whichever the test cases already passed. Okay. So those test cases or functionalities are not affected by any code changes. So that is called regression testing. Retesting means rerunning of failed cases.
Rerunning the failed cases.
Yeah. Like that means whenever the developer fixes the defects, so those fixed defects, we have to retest it. Right? We have to test that defects, right? So how do you test that? By rerunning those failed cases, we will be testing the defects. So that is called retesting, okay? And user acceptance testing. What is this user acceptance testing is? So end user or business users will be performing this user acceptance testing, okay? So there are again two types inside that: alpha testing, beta testing, something like that, okay? What is alpha testing, beta testing? Have you heard that? Alpha testing, beta testing you might have heard. Alpha testing means testing the application, right, in the developer's environment. End user will test the application in the developer's environment. Beta testing means testing the application by the end user in the production or in the production environment. That is called beta testing. Okay. And accessibility testing and performance testing, stress testing, system testing. So like that, there are so many other testings. Accessibility testing means the application should be accessibility. That means how that application, right, navigations and how easy to access that application, how easy to use that application. Okay. And also they will be testing, see, in some applications, right, even blind people should be able to access the application. In some applications, they will add those features. So all those things, right, will be covered in this accessibility testing. And performance testing means
Excuse me, sir.
performance of the
Some-
application. Yeah, Esma,
Someone is waiting for the accepting call, sir.
again. Yes, that you. Okay, what is performance testing is testing the application performance. That means how application, right, what is the response time of the application? If single user access the application, what is the response? If multiple users access the application at the same time, if multiple users, right, perform the same, what is it, operation in the application at the same time, how that application responds, what is the response time it is giving. So all those things will be tested in the performance testing. Okay. Stress testing. Stress testing means testing the application, apply the load. That means running the application for a long time to make the application stress. That means we'll be enforcing the stress to the application by running for long time continuously. How it right responses. We have to see that. That is also called stress testing. And security testing. Security testing means these and all. How application is vulnerable for hacking. Okay, those things and all will be taken care here. Security testing. Okay, guys, these are all different types of testings generally performed in the software testing, guys. Okay, guys. Yes, now just I will give you one simple simple scenario to understand that how these testings will be performed right in the project life cycle. Whatever we discussed, right? Guys, let us assume that we have some 500 requirements for the application. Okay, total requirements we have just I'm assuming that 500 requirements are there, total requirements. And for these total 500 requirements, right, assume the total test cases designed to test all these 500 requirements. Assume that total test cases designed of 500 into some around 2000 test cases are there. Assume that 2000 test cases are there. Okay, guys, and assume that this application is planned, okay, into release, right? For example, 500 requirements, right? So some 50 requirements per release. In the first release, first 50 requirements will be completed, developed. In the second release, 2, another 50 requirements will be developed. Like that, they will plan it. Is it right? Okay. Just assume like this, release 3, 50 requirements. So like that, how many requirements it will go?
10 releases.
10 releases, right? 10 releases it will go. Okay, guys. Yes, okay, guys. Release 4, another 50 will be added. Laptop will take up to release 5. Another 50 cases will be added. Requirements will be added, guys. Guys, 50 requirements means how many test cases we can assume here? 200 test cases, right? 200 test cases. Is it right? Yeah. So here also for these new requirements, 200. See, each set of 50 requirements are new requirements. Understand? They will add new requirements to the application in every release, right? So 200 test cases. So this is 50 requirements. Okay, yes. Test cases. Okay, guys. Now let us take, guys, first release. Okay. In the first release, let us assume that they will finish 25 requirements development. After completing 25 requirements development, they may release build 1. First build will be released for 25 requirements completion. So in this build, how many test cases we have to execute to test these 25 requirements? So, okay, let us assume that for these 25 test cases, how many test cases will be there? 100 test cases. Is it right, guys? 100 test cases. Okay. So now when you get this build 1, that means after completion of this 25 requirements development, and once they complete white box testings, all those things, and once the developers feel that application is stable and it is working fine, then they will deploy that build to QA environment. Got it? So when you get this build 1 into QA environment, then testers will start testing, executing. What they will do first? Smoke test. Is it right? As soon as you get the build, what cases we have to run? We should run smoke test cases first, correct? So in the smoke test, how many test cases you may have? So something, let us assume that some 10 test cases, just 10 test cases, basic test cases. 10 test cases will be executed. And once these 10 test cases are passed, then what is the next testing will be started? Functional testing. Okay, guys. So in this functional testing, what will be tested? These 25 new requirements will be tested. For these 25 new requirements, we have 100 test cases. Got it? So here these 100 test cases will be executed, guys. So as soon as you get the build one, first we run some 10 test cases. After that, we will start with functional testing. As part of functional testing, we execute 100 test cases to test these 25 requirements. Understand, guys, up to here? So suppose if there is any test cases are failed in the smoke testing or functional testing, defects will be raised, correct? So defects also will be reported. Defects will be reported here. Okay. So that is a build one in the release one, guys. Only these three activities: smoke testing, functional testing, and defects reporting. After that, execution summary will be generated. That's what they will do. Okay. So in the build one, see, when testing team is doing testing, developers will be continuing the developing of the remaining 25 requirements for release one. Is it right? So, and also in the build one, testers will be reporting few defects. Understand, guys? So these defects and some 25 new requirements, the remaining 25 requirements, developers should complete the development. Developers will be completing the remaining 25 requirements development, and also they should complete the defects reported. Whatever the defects are reported, those defects should be fixed. You got it, guys? So once these defect fixes completed and 25 requirements development also completed, then they will release build 2. Another build in the same release, they will be deploying one more build. In this build, how many new requirements are there? 25 new requirements are there, correct? 25 new requirements. And for these 25 new requirements, you have 100 new test cases. Is it right? New test cases. So as soon as you get the build, so this is common. First, we should run smoke testing, guys. As soon as you get build, you should run smoke testing first. Once smoke testing is completed, then we can start with functional testing again, same thing. So in this functional testing again, you are executing a new 100 test cases. New 100, these 100 test cases will be executed here to test new requirements which are added in this build 2. Guys, all of you are following? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you have any doubts, so stop me. Okay. Yeah. So once this smoke testing and functional testing completed in the build 2, then what to do? See, in this build 2, only 25 new requirements only is there. There is defects fixes also is there, correct? In the build 1, there are some defects reported, and those defects might be fixed in the build 2. All of you guys clear? So here in this build 2, it contains some 25 new requirements and the defects fixes. So in the smoke testing, it is common in every build. And in the functional testing, we are testing new requirements. And what about this defect fixes? So you have to test defects also, correct? Defects testing or retesting. That is called retesting. We should perform retesting here. The number of test cases in the retesting, how many test cases you should execute? That depends upon the number of cases failed in the previous build. Is it right? So whenever test cases are failed test cases, then defects will be reported. So here failed test cases will be tested. Defect fixes means failed test cases execution. Okay. So that count is depends upon the number of test cases failed in the previous build, guys. That's fine. So this is one more testing additionally added from build 2 onwards. Only in the first build of the first release, you have only two types of testings, smoke testing and functional testing. That is enough. But from build 2 onwards, you should have to perform retesting also. One more testing is added. Okay. After this retesting, one more testing should be performed. What is that? Regression testing. Yes. See, in this regression testing, what test case we have to execute? See, in the build 1, already 100 test case executed. Is it right? First set of 25 requirements. Assume that out of these 100 test cases, okay, you have some 90 test cases passed and 10 test cases are failed. Okay. Assume that. So for these 10 test cases, you must have raised the defects. So in the retesting, how many test cases we should run? Here 10 test cases. Is it right? So now in the regression testing, how many test cases we should run?
100.
100. That means not 100. 10 test cases are failed right here already.
90 should be checked.
So those 10 test cases we are running as part of retesting. Okay, guys. And in the regression testing, you have only 90 test cases remaining, correct? But do we need to run all 90 test cases to ensure that all these working functionalities or passed functionalities are working fine without any issues? So you no need to rerun all 190 test cases or all 100 test cases as part of regression testing to ensure that already tested functionalities are working fine. We no need to run all the test cases. Okay, guys. So out of these 100 test cases, you may select some or 20% of the test cases as for regression test execution. That means out of this 100, only 20 test cases will be selected for testing as part of regression testing. That means you should select such a way that these if these 20 test cases are passed, we can assume that confidently all these functionalities are working fine. Okay, guys. So it depends upon the project. Okay, it may vary. 20 or 30% also can be selected for regression testing. Okay, now I'm assuming that 20%. Okay, so regression testing, from these 100 test cases, only 20 test cases are selected to ensure that here these functionalities, whichever the functionalities already tested and passed. So to make sure that those functionalities are not affected in this build 2. So for that, from build 1 test cases, I am selecting some 20 test cases. So I will be running these 20 test cases in the regression testing. Okay, guys. So this is another one more testing added in the build 2. Okay, guys. Suppose now in the release 2, in the first release, all 50 requirements development completed. Okay, guys. So there may be still some open defects in the build 2 and from build 1. So then developer feels that they can release one more defect, one more build after fixing all opening defects. So they can release one more build 3 with all defect fixes. No new requirements, guys. Defect fixes. All defect fixes. So it is not mandatory, optional this one, this build 3. Okay, guys, like this they may give. So here also what testings we should perform? All these things we have to perform, guys. Now tell me, the count, test case count is same we have to run. or is there any changes in the test case count? See that? Smoke testing, 10 test cases are common. This smoke test suite will not change. Okay, guys. It will be same. And functional testing. Is there any functional testing in the build 3? There is no new requirements here, right? So there is no functional testing required in the build 3 because this build is only for defect fixes, guys. So next, defect testing. So here, how many defects are, how many test cases or failures are there? That many test cases will be executed. Assume that 20 test cases. Now come to regression testing. That means defect fixes from build 1 and build 2. So all together will be re-executed here. And in the regression testing, how many test cases will be executed now? See, in the build 2, we have taken some 20 test cases from build 1 requirements. Got it? Similarly, so in the build 2, another 25 new test cases, another new 100 test cases are added, correct? In the build 2. So when you are doing regression in the build 3, you should add build 2 regression test cases also. That means for these new 25 requirements, you should add another, I can take 25 cases, guys. For each requirement, one test case. I can assume like that. Okay, let us take 25 test cases, okay? For each requirement, one test case, assume like this, okay? 25% we are taking from the total test cases. So in the build 2, you are running 25 regression test cases for build 1. Similarly, from this build 2 new test cases, 25 test cases should be selected, and those new 25 test cases should be added to this regression suite. So now the regression suite becomes 50, guys. 50 test cases. All of you clear? Understanding the process? See that. That means this regression suite is increasing. In the build 1, regression suite size is 0, correct? In the build 2, now it is 25, the regression suite. And in the build 3, it becomes 50. Because in the build 2, we cover only build 1 regression test cases. In the build 3, you should cover build 1 and build 2. So by the time of build 3, total how many requirements are completed? 50 requirements are completed. So the regression test case count is 50. That means total 200 test cases executed in build 1 and build 2. Understand? So from these 200 test cases, you should select regression suite. So now it is a 50. So like this, the regression testing suite, a size will be keep increasing every time in every build and from every release to release, from build to build. Okay, the regression suite may increase in size. Guys, okay, now so like this, if I keep increasing that size, what will happen, guys? See that. Suppose in release 2 again. Build 1. So here also you have same thing. 25 new requirements, 100 test cases. Okay, and here also same testings we are performing. But see that how yes, this is release 1. First we have seen. So in the release 1, build 1, this one. So this is build 2. Okay. And this is build 3. Only defect. Done. So now build 1 in release 2. So smoke testing. Guys, this meeting will end now. Again, I will restart the meeting. All of you please join, okay? Rejoin again. I will disconnect now and I will rejoin, guys. You also please do the same, okay? Bye.